This is FCTV, fan-controlled television. Programs created and produced for the fans, by the fans of fan-controlled sports and entertainment. As always, power to the fans. And now, it's time for the show.
I like that one, Leighton.
I actually really like that one. I was just waiting for the back to work right after, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is."
Dude, I got to arrange these graphics back here a little bit better because that was a botch. I should have done back to work.
You want me to be the back to work button pusher?
Yeah,
That is so crazy.
Things.
Wow.
Welcome everybody to Back to Work. What do you got? Go ahead, hit me.
No, I like that intro. That was like a really good intro. I really enjoyed that. That was a good one.
Welcome everybody to Back to Work. It's a Monday. It's 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Leighton's in the middle of a very severe thunderstorm. Before this was, I think I do a pretty good. Yeah, I do like a pretty good off in the distance thunder.
Yeah, mine's a shikakaka. That's mine. I do it all the time. Just
that sounds more like the scat man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like jazz piano. Thanks to everybody for being here. Jose Ruckus is going to be on the show today. And Freddie Airmail going to be on the show today. We got a packed show. This show is going to go longer than usual because Leighton and I had a few ideas. We wanted to do it all in today's show, and so we're going to do that.
So stick with us.
Yeah.
There's nothing else on TV, so stick with us.
There's not. I was just watching the 2009 PGA Championship classic rounds there on Golf Channel, and that's how you know I have problems when OVO Ghost, getting right into it. USA blew it. We're going to get into that in just a second. Okay, OVO Ghost. They blew it. They blew it. Good to see Macuga 8. Macuga. Oh, wait. I think I know who that is. Is that who I think it is? Look at the thing.
Is it?
Yeah. McGee, is that right?
Yeah.
Freddie, is that who we think it is? Come on, Freddie. Chime in the chat. Yeah, you do. That's what I thought. Okay. All right. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. A lot of fan-controlled news coming here. And I saw some demos of the app today on a sales deck for a very large company that really wants to be a part of what we're doing. And apparently there are some guys, I know we didn't have like the most friggin' we didn't have FCF in 2023. I know that. And we're just as bummed as all of you. Okay. But things are coming. I promise you this. I promise you. Just like Jose Ruckus promised that we would definitely get out of the group stage, which we barely did, Jose. We did.
We did.
We got out. Okay. You said in that very lovely mustachioed voice of yours that the women's World Cup team, the heavily favored women's World Cup team, plus Jose at the beginning of the World Cup, plus 185 to win, the best odds of any team, didn't score a goal the last 2 games, full plus overtime. And they were celebrating after the group stage like they did something special. Jose, how upset are you versus how upset am I?
I'm very upset.
Okay.
I'm very, very upset. I think we're upset for different reasons. I'm not just upset that we lost.
Okay.
I'm upset that we have let our dominance over this sport just collapse around us. Look, the team deserves critique for their play. Alex Morgan is not nearly the player that she was. She played terribly during this World Cup. Megan Rapinoe, again, not the player that she used to be, missing a penalty kick that she really should have made. The younger players, some of them didn't step up quite well. The team deserves criticism. They didn't play as well as they should have. The coach deserves criticism. This game only made 2 substitutions, and one of them came at like the 85th minute of the game. It's ridiculous. The biggest advantage, we talked about this in the show many times, the biggest advantage that this team had was the depth, and the coach never once utilized the depth. only brought 2 center backs to the World Cup, and one of them never touched the field. It's the strategy was abysmal. It was terrible. We have these great
you can
forwards.
say it. You were about to say abysmal. You're about to say abysmal.
Yeah, just use the word.
It's unfathomable how badly this all went. We have these amazing forwards who can score, but we were never able to get them the ball in decent positions because the players playing in the middle just weren't able to make these passes. So yes, the players lost the game. The coach absolutely blew this, lost the game. But I think that all of America, us, the people, I think we lost this as well. Because
what did I do?
No, I'll tell you what you did, Leighton. I'll tell you what you did. It's the same thing I did. It's the same thing I did. It's the same thing Josh did. It's the same thing everybody watching this did right now, which is that we've taken this team for granted. We've taken our dominance over this sport for granted, and we haven't continued to invest in our players and in our system to the rest of the world's caught up to us. The thing that we had over all these other teams for decades now was essentially just Title IX, that we were dragged, the America was dragged kicking and screaming into dominance of women in soccer because we'd spent more money than everybody else. And the rest of the world has decided to match that spending, and they're better than us now. The European Women's Super League is such a better league than the National Women's Soccer League is. It's not even close. The developmental systems are not comparable. We're still focused on developing elite athletes, which is what we have. We have Sophia Smith, who's an elite athlete. We have Trinity Rodman, who's an elite athlete. But we're not developing elite players the way Barcelona is right now, the way Chelsea is right now, the way the European clubs are. They're teaching them how to play soccer extremely well, which is something that we can't do. And we have these superstar players, and we don't watch them play. We don't spend money on their jerseys. People know Megan Rapinoe? They don't know what club she plays for.
I don't know.
Not.
No, I got nothing.
Portland.
So we're not investing in this thing that we were the best at, and now we're not the best at it anymore. And if we continue to not invest in this, we might not be the best ever again.
Jose, oh God, I can't take both teams sucking. Okay, Leighton, you know what? Go ahead. Let me gather because what Jose just did.
2 questions. I have 2 questions. First, I've always
first of all, can we just shout out OVO Ghost in the chat real quick? This is a really good comment.
Really good take. Yeah,
they got to let the younger ladies in. Stop chasing records and get the win. The coach made subs based on heart, not stats.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. I have 2 questions. I've always liked how European clubs, they keep the women in-house. In the U.S., we separate leagues, separate team names. Is that something that MLS should do? Like, for example, Atlanta United would have a women's team called Atlanta United. They train with the men. Is that the model we should do as well?
That might help. I think the bigger problem is before you get to the professional level. In Europe, they have the academies, right? Barcelona gets players from when they're children, and they stay at Barcelona all the way up until they're professionals. The American independent academies are a pay-to-play system. It's the players that are getting the most development are not the players who are the best players in our country. They're the players who are good, who come from families who can afford to pay. Yeah. And I think starting at the younger level is really the thing that needs to be focused on.
Okay, that's a great take.
And that's not just on the women's side. That's the men's side as well.
That's the men too. Yeah.
Okay.
All
right, second question. Is this more of the 1988 men's USA basketball team issue or the 2004? When we talk about Dream Team, Redeem Team.
Yeah. I think it's more of the Redeem Team. Okay. I think it's we didn't see, it's not that the stars weren't there like before. It's that the stars are aging out, and we have these really great young players, and we have this amount of depth, and we're just not using it very well.
Let me OVO goes with a solid question. Is this the same issue the WNBA is facing? I think it might be a little bit different because I don't think that countries in general are investing in women's basketball besides maybe like Russia. But it's more like, hey, we're going to take a bunch of the American talent and pay them more money so they come over here and play, which is, a lot of the story. Boykin for MVP in the chat. What's up, brother? And Sean McGee was in the chat earlier. Great to see those guys.
One thing with the WNBA, right, is that the best players in the world, they play in the WNBA. The best women's players in the world play in the WNBA. They don't do it year-round, obviously. They play in other leagues as well, but our players get development in that system. Right now, the best players in the world are not in the National Women's Soccer League. They are playing in the Women's Super League in Europe. That's where the money is. That's where the incentives are to play, because if you play in that league, you're playing against better players and you develop better. So
should all of our players just go over there? Like Christian Pulisic and some of our better national men?
That's what it takes for our men's team to become a good team, is starting to get players working in those systems. I would prefer to have the financial incentives to bring those players over here, but it's hard to say if the U.S. is ever going to have that kind of commitment to women's soccer, because over there, right, if you're a Chelsea fan, if you root for men's Chelsea, you just naturally continue to root for them when, the women are winning the Super League. It's all part of the same thing. So maybe Leighton is correct. Maybe we do need to, it's not like, MLS is killing it or anything.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe we do need to get more incentives.
Yeah.
Is there, there's got to be a world where, because it does like hurt the brain a little bit that we, after all of these years, now soccer, again, it's hard for us to produce men's talent on par with South American talent, European talent. Hell, even African talent, Australian talent. I don't know. But most of the teams and most of these countries are soccer crazed, whereas we have so many other different options to play, and soccer just isn't even in our top 5 sport, right? It just isn't. You play as a kid, you kick the soccer ball around, and then all of a sudden you play football or you play baseball or you play basketball, hockey, whatever. Let's be honest. Golf is probably more popular on television than the MLS is, right? So for the MLS to really not make a ton of money and then reinvest into a women's arm of the team for leagues that really, look what Lionel Messi's doing. He's over here scoring at will. He's just doing whatever he wants, because the MLS really should be minor league soccer, because that's what it is compared to the Premier League, the Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga. That's what it is.
It's true. I think the thing is that for women's sports, soccer's the peak. Soccer's the best thing that you can be doing in women's sports, and it's just the lack of interest in caring about women's sports in this country is going to make it to where we can't continue to dominate these sports, because other countries are catching up. And Americans, if they want to win these things, they need to take pride in their women's sports teams, and they need to support them when it's not a World Cup, and they need to develop leagues where these players can continue to thrive.
That's a great take. It's a great take.
Yeah, OBO Ghost. The Liga is like the top 5 highest paying sports in the world. I understand that. I get that. If we were able to tell all of our kids when they're younger, hey, if you want to go pro in soccer, you can do this, but the coaching isn't there. I hate to say it. The genetics isn't there. We aren't like our best soccer players haven't been producing better soccer players through procreation for the last 80 to 90 years. They just haven't, right? We've been producing basketball players. We're producing giant football players. Like, that's where our genetic pool leans to. It was the joke I made on the Fan Control show last week, where why are all these race car drivers hot? Because their dads were race car drivers and they married supermodels. They got back in the racing, right? Point. And it's like hockey. It's like, why are all hockey players hot? Because every good-looking guy in Canada had sex with the best-looking woman in Canada because he was the best hockey player in town. And then they had good-looking. They genetically made perfect-looking kids that are also awesome at hockey. I'm not like saying anything that isn't out of this world. What I'm saying is how do we get like investment in women's soccer. We already have like a talent pool of girls playing soccer all the way through high school, right? They have it.
Yep.
They played all the way through college. All those teams. I mean, I went to Penn State women's soccer games before I'd ever go to a Penn State men's soccer game. I thought it was awesome to watch our women dominate, right? So I get your point, Jose. It's just for me, when you go into something like this and our talent is still there, and yet we underperform this bad, it's pretty fucking rough.
It is. And I think your point about we need to figure out how to develop coaching in this country for this sport. Because if you look at the men's side, the coaching is consistently a problem. We cannot find good coaches for our national soccer programs. We just don't have them here. And it's hard to get somebody, the men's team tried to reach out and get some bigger, names to come from other countries to potentially coach. Really interested. We have to figure out how to home grow good coaching for a sport. People just don't seem to care about.
I think, how do we steal like people from Spain and like Italy and be like, hey, come over here on a work visa and just train? Like, it can't be that expensive for a soccer coach to live in Texas or Florida, or like, why don't we put our national training grounds for soccer in states that are more affordable? Like, take them to New Mexico, put them in Oklahoma, like somewhere where they can afford to live on less, because they can't live in California. It's too expensive. They can't live in New York. It's too, like, these major metropolitan areas. Just put them. I mean, we should be getting Italians and Spanish former players. It's there. We should be learning the beautiful game from the people that invented the beautiful game. Not just like my dad liked to kick the soccer ball in the backyard, so he coached my brother's team. My dad didn't know shit about soccer.
Is it hard for us to get a guy like Pep to coach is that hard?
I think so. Did we lose Jose? Did we lose you? Man. Come back to us, Jose. I think we lost him.
He'll come back.
BC line in the chat. Do we allow for Canada and USA to have an off World Cup? Sure. OBO goes, yes. No state taxes in Florida, sure. But you can't train in the summer in Florida unless it's indoor. It's way too hot. It's way too hot. Same as Texas, and especially with global warming now, like we got to put it in states that might be a little bit cooler in the summertime, less humidity. So maybe something in elevation.
I know, but the heat brings something out of you. Like is
it grit?
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, I hate the Florida Gators, but there's something about their football players or what Florida State has. It's,
man,
I hate them, but
Well, thanks to Jose Ruckus for really making me depressed, knowing that we can't dominate in this sport anymore, and that the rest of the world has caught up. Because, OBO goes. Denver would be great. Denver's gorgeous.
Denver would be amazing.
Gorge.
Yeah, Denver would be amazing. Yeah,
put everything in Colorado.
But there was something about Jose's energy that makes me now like super frustrated. Like
Freddie, where would you put it? Where would you put the training ground for women's soccer? South Bend?
No, nah. I mean, today was a pretty good day for it. I went out and I did some walking around Notre Dame's campus. Maybe a little too much walking compared to what I'm used to, but it was a decent day for that. No, I mean, I just don't think about soccer all that much, men's or women's. And so I'm definitely not. I'm not as hurt as you guys are, as Jose. Definitely, I'm not as hurt as he is about this whole thing. But that's not to say that you guys are wrong for feeling this way.
I think I know. You sound like a therapist. You should be a sports therapist. Right. Is what you should be. You're not wrong for.
I know why I'm upset though. Also, it's because there was nothing else going on this summer. So this was
nothing. This was supposed to be a run.
This was it.
Yeah.
Right?
This was it. Like,
God, man. All right. Hey, fans. We're gonna bring Freddie on in a few, probably 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. Talking a very fun thing. And BC Lion threw a link in there. Qantas Stigger's playing for an undefeated Argonauts team.
Brett. They're not undefeated anymore. They just lost their last game, but They're still the best team in the league or record wise, and they still got a good shot to go
How's
far
Fuentes playing
in the season. I haven't heard too much.
Okay.
I think he's doing all right though.
He's always doing all right. I love him. All right, we'll see you in a bit. Okay. Ooh, son of a man. I don't know how to feel, Leighton. I don't know how to feel.
I'm invested now. I will say this. Like now I'm like, I've been Googling, like, do I get an NWSL team? Do I follow this? Do I learn?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I just wait another 4 years and just like, all right.
I would love to figure out how we can get. I know how to make the WNBA fan controlled and how much more fun to make the WNBA, right? Like that's obvious. You shorten the court, you lower the rims, make it a dunk fest. You just do. You light up the court, you go LED. Listen.
Put Brittany
I don't want to
cheap dunk training.
Yeah, I'm not trying to cheapen the women's game, but me and my buddy at where Rosie's going to school. Rosie starts school this week, which is blowing my mind. The fact that my daughter's already starting school. Anyway, they have hoops in the schoolyard, and they're like 7.5 feet. And it was so much fun to play a one-on-one game where us two old white dudes are dunking on each other. Dude, Who cares about rim height? Who cares? All right, Jose, he's back. I'm back. Let's do it. Okay. We lost you there for a second. We were basically talking about stealing people from foreign countries to come over here and coach soccer. Do we think that there is a world where we as like a country, because federal government is only going to provide so much funding for national sports. A private company comes in and basically we make that our supreme focus. Is like, we're already good at this. We know we can dominate in basketball. That's already got until the rest of the world catches up with basketball, we go there. For women's soccer, we really just create like the IMG Academy, but for soccer, unless that already exists. I mean, that might already exist. But we have to be able to men's sports. We're already too deep into figuring this out, right?
Yeah.
Women's sports, this has to be like a stepping stone of, okay, we now have seen that we are behind. We're behind the 8 ball now. We rested on our laurels, like you said. We took it for granted. Because if a men's soccer team went into the World Cup, the biggest competition in that sport, and we were a soccer crazed nation, and we just barely got out of the group stage and then got beat by Sweden in PKs and didn't score a goal in games, it would be on fire. Everybody would be on fire. SportsCenter would be talking about nothing but this, right?
Yeah.
So do we just focus our attention there? Like, okay, let's forget about the sports that really don't matter. This one clearly moves the needle somehow. It's on a professional league that has lasted more than 2 years. It's got teams. We need to market them better, and we need to train them better with better international talent. Like, do we get Landon Donovan or Christian Pulisic to go over to Europe and start like recruiting guys to then come over here to coach women, or women to coach women?
That might be a great idea. I mean, if you're a women's coach, I mean, this is the team that you would want to coach, right? It's this great pool of talent, and so it feels like we shouldn't have too much trouble recruiting a great coach. I don't know how we ended up with this inexperienced guy who's afraid to use the younger players. You give him all the tools and he doesn't know how to use the tools. It's baffling to me how we
I'm sorry. This is how much I don't pay attention. There's an inexperienced coach coaching this women's team right now.
Yes.
This is his first run at the World Cup.
They couldn't find any. Okay.
No, I think they went. This is like when Cleveland hired Freddie Kitchens. I mean, let's be honest. Jose, is the entire organization like the NCAA just run by morons? Like, is this a badly run organization?
I don't know. I believe it's run by the same organization that runs the men's team, and I do think that they're not very good at doing these kind of things. The coaching decision to end up with Greg Berhalter again after everything that went down with this World Cup, it's baffling. I don't understand. There's this want of just keep it the same. This just go along with steady progress. And this, like, it seems like the ambition to win doesn't get to the front office level in this organization.
Should we hire like a 23andMe situation where we start finding soccer players internationally that have some sort of American relative that we can get them a passport and get them here? Or is this like how the Pirates and the Yankees have farm systems in the Dominican Republic, in Cuba, in Puerto Rico, that we can set up like, hey, here's a Atlanta United team outside of Rome, and they have a training facility there, and it's a feeder system. Or Jose, is this the idea that Chelsea and Liverpool and Roma and Juventus, they start buying MLS teams to train people in America to make the MLS profitable and competitive, so that now are like the UEFA Champions League now includes an MLS team. And then women,
I would love for that to be the world where we get to the level where our teams are playing and competing with these other leagues. Maybe the National Women's Soccer League should be broken down to a few more teams, and they should just join the Super League. Maybe that's where things need to be. We're looking at America is going to be hosting the Copa America and playing in the Copa America. That's a huge tournament. Doing well in that could boost our pedigree so much more. I think that's really where it comes down to, is we need consistent competition that's at the highest level.
I just, as somebody that every World Cup, I think to myself, if our best athletes played in the World Cup, like if LeBron James and Aaron Judge were on a soccer team together, 2 6'8" behemoths at forward, and we're not winning. I mean, come on. Man, I don't know. Because if we actually invested and marketed it and built these teams around it, I think in 15 years, both of our teams would be absolutely, not dominating, but they would hold their own on the world stage.
Yeah,
I agree.
It wouldn't be like, hey, we'll just get to the quarterfinals again. Oh, we'll just get to the rounds of 16 again. I'm tired of battling just to get out of the group stage, Jose. In both.
I am too. I'm very frustrated by it.
Yeah.
How about that? That punch in baseball on Saturday?
Tim Anderson getting knocked out. Man, it was awesome.
Dude,
So
did you see he went to Twitter and was like, he didn't even hit me. Then why were you stumbling? They had to get you off the field. He got knocked up out.
Yeah, they need to take his phone away from him.
They do. He's got to get off Twitter, man. So the publicist needs to come in and grab it.
Yeah.
Do we think that baseball should have like a hockey fight rule kind of a thing where, all right, you charge the mound, you get into a fight, and that's that. No suspensions. Like you get kicked out of the rest of the game, but no suspensions. Like, hey, if you're throwing a ball at 100 miles an hour at a guy and he charges the mound, I think that's provocation. I think that's what they would call that in a court of law. Am I right, Jose?
Yeah, I hate the bean ball. I don't like it. I would love to see more consequences for pitchers who throw at batters. Like, I think, if a pitcher intentionally hits you, that's an automatic ejection. But I think it should also come with, you should get a punch in the face as well.
Agreed. A fastball at that does way more damage than a fist from Tim Anderson.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and it can end careers. Like, there are players who have gotten, like, not even intentionally hit, but hit on like the elbow or something, and they've just never played the same again. Yeah.
OVO Ghost. Tim Anderson got 6 games. Jose Ramirez got 3. Francona got 1 game. Francona. Oh man. Jose knows this, but Terry Francona is a family friend. He's awesome. And so
don't you know?
Terry's the best, man. He's from Pittsburgh. Here's a crazy Terry Francona stat from high school, Jose. Okay. When Terry Francona was in high school, he had 29 straight at bats with a hit or a multiple base hit. He never didn't walk, didn't strike out, didn't get hit by a pitch. He either got a hit or got a double or a triple or a home run. Every time in 29 straight at bats. That is awesome.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
So cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jose, we always love having you, bud. And thanks for I don't want to say depressing me, but really galvanizing my want for us to really do some shit in soccer. Like figure this out.
You ignited something in me.
I'm tired of losing, Jose. I don't want to lose anymore. There he is.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We suck right now, but yeah.
You know what? No, but you guys are one of the highest attended sporting events in the country. Like Atlanta United consistently sells out. Like that is a city right now that is supporting soccer in the way every single city in this country needs to be doing. So
that's why I want a women's team. I really want a women's team because I think we can.
They should have a women's team.
They deserve it. They deserve it.
Yeah, I just want them to have the same name. I don't want like a different Atlanta team that we now have to learn. We just lost our rugby team, by the way. But yeah,
they would just call it Atlanta United, like women's, right? W.
Yeah,
United?
that's what I want. Yeah.
That's what it. Stop naming teams different things in the. Anyway, all right. We love you, Jose. We'll see you soon.
Later, guys.
Thank you so much.
See you, buddy. Jose Ruckus, the absolute legend. All right. You get hit by a pitch. The pitcher's a little bit bigger than you. Okay, a little bit. He looks a little bit stronger, maybe a little bit meaner. Do you take it and go to first base, or does the blood boil and do you attack?
Can I bring my bat with me?
No bats.
I'm going to first base. Going to first base. I'll be honest.
Okay.
You know,
I'll be honest. I think if I run fast enough and I do like a jump punch, I can get the first one in.
Jump kick.
No kicking. You got a hand.
Man, I don't know.
You know what never made sense to me either, Leighton, is when football players like punch each other in the helmet. Like you're hurting yourself, you dummy.
Well, you see, they're starting to do the open palm, and they mush you
slap
from the side. Yeah, just the slap. Yeah,
the push slap. Boykin for MVP, fight for the social media views. Yeah. Throw the helmet, throw the ball back. OVO ghost. Actually, not bad. That actually pick up the ball and wing it at the pitcher. Yeah.
Or in that moment they should switch. You should be able to get to pitch at the pitcher. So the pitcher knows it. Yeah. Clear the field.
Clear the field.
You have to take the pitch.
Oh man. What about running to the mound, picking up a piece of dirt, throwing it in the face, get like
pocket
sand. Yeah.
I don't know if there's any King of the Hill fans in the chat, but the pocket sand. That's what you do.
Pocket sand.
Pocket sand. Like
God damn it, Bobby. Shock collar. That's not bad. Put the shock collar on him. There's a lot. See, I just think that every sport should be like, okay, here's the thing. We're not a fighting sport. Okay. But if some shit gets out of hand and a fight starts, that's just what happens in the sports. Don't suspend them. Yeah. They get kicked out for the rest of that game. Because the one thing that pisses me off a lot about soccer too is like, oh, she got a yellow card, and then the next game she got a yellow card, which means that's 2 yellow cards in 2 consecutive games. She gets suspended for the next game. Are you out of your mind? This is how it should be. A yellow card gets 10 minutes of a power play. A red card gets 25 minutes of a power play. It should not be the rest of the game a man down. That is fucking insane. Soccer, get your shit together.
Yep.
I was just going to say hit him with the chalk bag. I think it's called a rosin bag, OVO Ghost, but I think...
you give them the pool noodles and let them just go at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do that. Here. Yeah. Noodle me.
Noodle. Speaking of fights, okay, let's be honest. Jake Paul has now moves the needle in boxing.
Yeah. How did this happen?
If he's good or not, I don't know.
How do we let
a joke at
because
first.
It seemed like it seemed like it went from Floyd Mayweather, and I thought we were transitioning right into some big names, and it was like, Jake Paul. Here it is.
Yeah. And he's calling out Canelo in his press conference. He's saying he wants to fight Nate Diaz in an octagon. Freddie's got something to say. Freddie's pissed. He raised his hand. He picked up his mic. He wants to say something.
I think it just comes down to, a lot of people tuned in back when Jake Paul said he was, starting this boxing career, thinking that they were going to get, a shit show. They thought he was going to, that it was going to be a joke. They tuned in for the same reason why you turn your head for like a car accident on the highway. And then he's kind of parlaying that into being actually good at this, I guess.
I mean, he's taking it really serious. I listened to an interview with him. I think it's awesome, right? Like, hey, what do they always say? That, you know, the best fighter in the world, the best baseball player in the world, may be somebody that we've never seen before because they never picked up the game. They never did it, right?
Well, okay. Who does Jake Paul have to fight for you to officially respect him as a fighter? Win or lose?
I mean, he called Canelo. He called Canelo out. I want to see him
one
fight
we're
Canelo.
watching. Okay.
Right? If they're the same weight class. Jay Sasa said it was a terrible night for combat sports in general. UFC was a snooze fest. I literally fell asleep. Yeah, I've never really purchased a UFC fight. I went to a bar one time and watched that Ronda Rousey get beat by the girl a few years back.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, now I'm interested to see what happens with Jake Paul. Seriously, I am. I think this is kind of interesting, Freddie.
No, yeah. UFC's never really been something I watched. I had a college professor who was pretty into it. Any guesses what she taught?
What'd she teach? Wait, women's studies.
Geometry.
Business law.
Business law.
Oh, okay. That check.
So,
Yeah.
I guess you need a break from that sometimes.
Yeah. All right, Freddie, you're here. Let's talk.
Sure.
Oh no. Okay. Well, first of all, Leighton sent me a pickleball clip and I like to play pickleball. I enjoy it. I think we're kind of being fooled into thinking that pickleball is something that we would watch on TV because it seems very much just like ping pong, but on TV at least, because these people are so good. And in doubles pickleball, there's only so many places you can just like tick, 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 right? It's a lot of that. So if you were going to fan control pickleball, what would you do? Think in terms of if anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Instead of a racket, you had to hit it with the pickle.
That's the only. Thank you.
Or there's a power up where you replace your opponent's racket with
a pickle.
Are there circular pickles?
I mean, you could make a pickle in anything.
You could do that. You could
Boykin Friendly Peace says it best. Authentically, you says Leighton. You didn't send me the pickleball.
I just sent it to her.
Okay. OBO Ghost says make the court bigger. Yes. The point of pickleball, though, however, was to make sure that my grandma and her friends at assisted living did something for exercise, right? And then all of a sudden, tennis people were tired of running, and they were like, "We want to do a racket sport," so they started playing pickleball. Okay. Got the court shorter. For me, as somebody with a bad knee, I like pickleball because I don't have to run as much, especially in doubles pickleball. It's relatively simpler. Tennis is actually like pretty difficult. Here's what I would do.
And
go ahead.
They're you guys probably both have some at least slightly older relatives who will see something on a sport on TV and be like, I could do that.
Right.
Pickleball is now the sport where maybe those guys or anyone actually could do some of what they're seeing on TV. So it's like, hey, you give them a little confidence boost there.
But it sounds like younger people ruin the sport.
They got
fun at first that it was older people.
I mean that's the younger generation every time.
Freddie coming in hot. Well said. All right, we got some good in the chat here. OBO Ghost, make the court bigger. Authentically you, a moonshine pickle. Pickle juice rain. Okay. Fans control a fan controlled rain, but it's pickle juice. Delicious. Have you guys ever done a pickleback? Shot of whiskey? Shot of pickle juice? Really good?
No. I've done pickle juice and hot sauce shot. But
Spacely said change out the Gatorade. Use pickle juice instead.
Solid. Loser eats pickles between rounds. Okay. But what if you like pickles? That's a solid question. Okay. I think, first of all, we use our LED court and we can light up, right? You use that. Then I think that you make the whole area like almost like racquetball, but there's no out of bounds. Like it can just go. If you land it inbounds, you get the point. If you land it out of bounds, it's not a point, but you can still play it. So the game keeps going as long as it's bouncing once. I also think that there's a world where fans say you have to use your left hand and not just you have to take it out of your non-dominant hand, right? Or put it in your non-dominant hand. I think that there's lower the net, raise the net. I think it should be you have to hit it to the other person. If you're playing doubles, like the other person can't stand in front of the other one. If they leave their part, they get penalized, right? So they have to alternate, because if you watch some pickleball videos, a guy's just like the woman's and he's like, get out of the way. I'm better than you, which is really annoying. I don't know. I think there's ways we can make this more fun. Go ahead, Freddie. What do you got?
Or also, what if like instead of like just like raising the net or lowering it, like I'm assuming you're saying like between points.
Yes,
what if we had it so that there was a setting like it moves up and down during the point, like have it on
like
a
Papa
machine
Shot, like in Papa Shot when the basket starts moving, but the net starts moving. That's actually pretty good.
But do you penalize them for hitting it under the net if it goes up, or does it always have to go over the net?
It always has to go over the net. Always has to go over the net.
But wouldn't it be a little bit more challenging if you don't know if they're going to hit it under the net? Because then do you make your partner responsible for waiting for the ball to come under the net? Like, or is that too complicated?
The net is never like, there's never a space under the net. The net just like raises and lowers. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm thinking this whole thing is like,
oh no, yeah.
I'm grand over here. I'm like,
but
like
there is something to be
into
said.
The ground.
Yes,
Thinking?
Yeah. Like one of those fancy people's TV at the end of their bed that can go into the bed and out of the bed. You ever seen that? Something like that. I think there's a lot of fun stuff that you could try with pickleball, because we're not so set in our ways now that it's like, oh, we can't do anything in baseball because it's all about the records and it's all about the purity of the game. Right. It's like Barry Bonds' head was 48 sizes too big.
Oh, yeah. Pickleball's too new for people to get bent out of shape about the traditions of it.
Correct. Well said, Frederick. All right, Freddie. So the idea, here's what happened, is I watched this clip of Rich Eisen saying that like this were his top 10 actual like mascots, and I sent it to Leighton, and I think I sent it to you. And did you see it? Did I send it to you?
You did not send me the clip. You told me that you saw the clip.
Yes.
And you were like, run with this. And then it was like,
run with it. Yeah. So basically, Rich Eisen is saying like these things, and his group of gangly men that are his buddies that do the show with him were dying in laughter. Like he was Chappelle at the Apollo. And they were average ideas. They weren't even that good. Okay. So I thought that us three together, Freddie, the king of the pun, although I like to consider myself the prince of puns. I'm part of your kingdom. Okay. Yeah. That we could come up with some fun ideas for mascots and touchdown celebrations with these mascots. So
I think I'll be the prince in this situation, because
okay.
Humility.
But there's a big enough gap in our ages, I believe.
Sure.
But also, like I said to you in an email, something that I think warrants being said out on their show, which is that I really feed off that punny energy that you give, especially in the fan controlled show, where I'm using that for the show names and stuff.
You were the king of the show. That's the show.
There was one time like a few weeks ago where you were not on that show, where it was, I think it was, everyone else who was normally on there, and my productivity on the show names plummeted. I think that was like maybe the first time where like more than half of them that went up on the poll weren't mine, which in the grand scheme of things is not a big deal.
It is a big deal, Freddie. It's a big deal.
It's not a big deal to me, but
it's a big deal. It's okay.
I think
it's a big deal.
People give me a lot of credit for that, but I think you really drive a lot of that. So you get
Freddie,
to be the king.
I'm his muse, Leighton. I'm his muse. There we go. Okay. So I wrote one for all 32 teams. I think that might be too much, but we can have fun with this. So
last week.
What do you guys? Where do you want to start? How do you want to start? Leighton, you want to start?
Which list are we doing first?
We're doing the mascots and the touchdown celebrations.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna start.
Okay, go ahead.
Touchdown celebration for the Chargers.
Oh, okay.
There should be a stuffed animal like of the opposing team's mascot, and they should put it in an electric chair.
That is good.
Yeah.
It's good. Listen, if they're going to get rid of the death penalty, there's going to be a ton of electric chairs out there that need to be used and recycled.
You get it?
I think that's pretty good. Freddie, what do you got?
I just thought of one, not that I didn't have going in, but it's actually based on the original origin of the Chargers name, which was based on credit cards, because that was kind of a new thing back then. They weren't the plastic ones. It was just that was when that sort of thing sort of came into vogue. So what if each time they score a touchdown, they charge a random fan of the other team, $10.
They just charge his credit card.
I mean,
It's
for
like a
the
credit
price of
card
that
roulette.
stadium, it has to be more than $10. Like, it has to be. I'm gonna charge you for
Holy
the
shit.
game.
That is so good. Authentically You, the Steelers should steal something from someone in the crowd. Authentically You, a Steeler is a person that worked in the steel mill. It's not a thief, but that is a pretty funny idea. Okay. It's Jay Stacey said we should let Eckler decide the touchdown celebrations for the Chargers. He's the only one scoring them this year. That's true. Freddie, my idea for the Chargers was the same thing. A large foam credit card that says like San Diego on it. And then he's got like a chip reader. And every time they score a touchdown, he like slides himself in the chip reader. And it says like, do not remove card. Do not remove card. Approved.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got one. Leighton, what's your next one? Who you got? What do you got?
All right. My next one is going to be my hometown team, the Falcons.
Okay.
What should happen is we should identify a fan and send a flying falcon at them to attack them. Here's the thing, because we're like always outnumbered in our own stadium, it's not hard to find the opposing team's fan. So yeah, we should send falcons after people.
It's not. Freddie, you got anything for the Falcons?
I didn't have anything for the Falcons.
Okay.
How about for the Raiders? So going back to the
what do you got for the
we were in
Raiders?
before, we really want to. They're still trying to ingratiate themselves into Las Vegas.
Sure.
Why not have like a giant, not a stack of not too big playing cards, not so big that if you get hit in the face you'll get knocked out like Tim Anderson, but also big enough to get actually into the crowd.
Okay.
What if you like you score and you kind of like deal like you're dealing like a round of blackjack or something, and on one of the cards there's like some kind of prize for whoever catches that card.
That's not bad. Go ahead.
Or we set up a makeshift store and they raid the store.
Oh. Or they go, we send a bunch of raiders into the crowd and they just steal stuff from people in the crowd.
Right. Look under your seat. It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah. What about this one? What about for the Raiders is in the end zone, there's a large head, like a huge head with an eye patch. And nobody knows what's behind the eye patch. But each time they score a touchdown, they get to lift the eye patch to see. Is it a creepy eye? We don't know. Is it a fan giving you a high five? Like, oh, go. Or is it what I suggested to Freddie earlier? Is it a ghost of Al Davis or John Madden in a hologram form? Just saying, just win, baby.
Like
Just
the eye is like a hologram projector?
Yeah.
Or should the eye spew out slime too?
Oh, that's pretty good.
Shoot
That's
something
pretty good.
like you don't know.
If the Raiders make the Super Bowl this year, because Nickelodeon's going to have their own broadcast of that this season.
Damn. Authentically, you said Panther should do the Wakanda Forever thing. There should be more Black Panther stuff going on at the Carolina Panthers games.
Yeah, it's kind of a layup at this point, right?
Really, 100%. It's Jay Stacey. They should do a roulette spin on the scoreboard and fans with a ticket win merch or something. What about doing a giant roulette wheel in the middle of the field? Like they bring it out at halftime and they put a person in one of those balls, like a ball, and they just spin it. And then whatever they land on, they win.
Whatever
so it's like a giant human roulette wheel. Yes, correct. Yeah.
I'd sign up for that.
See, I would too. All right. How about this one? The Patriots. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck as giant foam mascots. So you got like a Matt Damon, like you know how the president's the Nationals game?
Yeah.
But they're dressed as colonial soldiers who yell at fans in angry Boston accents. Like they're just it's large foam mascots are like, oh, nice fucking job there, Matt. Like, you know, they're just like angry Boston fans, but they're foam mascots. So these mascots are just angry Boston people, but they're Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Are Patriots fans going to find that entertaining? It's what they see every day. It's probably what they do every day.
It's true. What do you think, Lay?
It's two things. Either the celebration is somebody clocking in to work for Gillette, or they have to reenact Mel Gibson in The Patriot.
Oh, The Patriot.
It's one of those two. It has to be one of those.
Okay, so you remember in The Patriot, he was always trying to, at the beginning of the movie, he was trying to build chairs that you could actually sit in.
Yeah.
So basically, they bring out a bunch of chairs, and fans play musical chairs on it. And the fans that sit down, only one chair actually works. So fans are sitting through chairs, and the one fan gets to sit on the one Mel Gibson Patriot chair.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah. Ovio Ghost said Mark Wahlberg should be one too. That's true. Authentically, you Packers pack a box and then throw it to a fan. They were actually cheese packers. Is what they're named after. Ovio Ghost, Wisconsin. The fans all get sprayed with cheese. Yeah, like cheese rain. Like a cheese. No. I was just saying they should have like a large block of cheese in the end zone, and every time they score, players just bite
you gotta take a bite out of it.
Yeah,
that would actually be. Why not have a fan with a cheese wheel, and instead of just the Lambo lead, when they do it, hand them the wheel and take a bite out the cheese.
Yeah.
But do they get a new wheel every game, or do they?
They have to. Yeah, I think they have to.
Okay, I didn't know if we.
And then at the end of each game, the players sign that wheel and they auction off the game-eaten real cheese.
I don't know. Maybe
they get game-worn jerseys. They get game-eaten cheese.
I don't know. Maybe you got to go into the season with the whole wheel, and then you want to get it eaten by the end of the year. But then you got to prevent it from, I don't know, going
molding.
bad.
Yeah. That's pretty good. The Bronco, the kitty horses on a stick, right? Or like one from the carousel. That's pretty much what the Broncos are at this point. Okay. Let's see. I wrote one for every NFL team. I don't like the Seahawks one. That wasn't very good. How about this one? This is for the 49ers.
Okay.
In the end zone, there's a prisoner on a large constructed Alcatraz, right? And every touchdown, he escapes, and the players have to catch him, tackle him, and put him back on the island.
How much time are you allocating for that?
Yeah. How's Rosie doing? Did she eat today?
It almost sounds more like a halftime show.
Yeah. Oh, the Alcatraz halftime show. Not bad. What else you got, Freddie? Who else you got? What other teams you got?
What do you have for the Bills? I'm curious.
Oh, okay. Here's my for the Bills. Let's see. Bills. It's just like the mascot is a folding table, and then they jump on him at the because they're like famous for that.
It's the reverse. Yeah.
What do you got for the Bills?
That's close enough to what I had.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, like I feel like it's just be a ton of folding tables everywhere that they line them in the end zone, just getting ready for a score, and then players just start jumping on them. Fans jump on them. They got to break tables. They invest in a table company in Buffalo.
They pick one random fan out in the stands, and they're like, "We're going to pay your electric bill and all your other bills."
Oh, that's actually not bad.
Yeah, see, I was thinking like the dollar bill concept, and like there's like there's a press, like a printing press, whatever, and they have to stop inflation. They have to find a way to turn off the machine and stop printing so much money.
What if it's a guy named Bill who's just hanging out? It's like, hey, this is our Buffalo Bill.
What if it's Buffalo Bill?
Wow. Or for every touchdown, they bring out 4 dudes named Bill, and one of them has something, and they have to pick the right bill that has that something.
Oh, he's got a $1 bill or a $5 bill.
Yeah.
And they all have their hands out like the kid game?
Yep. Pick the right bill.
Pick the right bill.
You do 4 like the 4 consecutive Super Bowl losses.
Yeah. That one from the Browns.
What do you got for the Browns? Tell me.
It's UPS based.
Ooh.
So what can Brown do for you? So after they score a touchdown, they have to hurry up, package it, and they have to deliver it to the right section in the stadium in like under whatever is a feasible time. So
that's pretty good. Okay.
It's the only one I think of from Browns.
What about
I just had a hot brownie?
Hot brown. Hot brown is
a brown sandwich.
It's an open-faced sandwich with meat and cheese and stuff, and it's from Louisville. So I mean, it's not Cleveland, but it's called a hot brown.
Never heard of it. I know that the river caught on fire there one time. So like a flaming river could be running through this. The river was so polluted, Leighton, that the river caught on fire.
Sense.
Yeah, it happened more than once.
Yeah, it did.
It happened.
Right.
It happened multiple times.
I just had like, if there's a large orange 0 that hangs in the end zone to remind them that they have no Super Bowls, and the players just have to score and be like, still got nothing. So yeah. Oh, OVO goes, the Chicago Bears should save a polar bear for every touchdown. I mean, they don't score enough. There's still a lot of polar bears out there.
Like, those polar bears are going to be extinct.
That's tough. That's tough.
It's tough.
How about this one? This is for the Ravens. It's an emo crab. Okay. And he's black. So he's like a black crab. Right. And he snips at opponents with his pinchers. When the away team score, right? And when the home team scores, they get to crush him with a crab hammer.
That's actually more entertaining than what I had. Actually, way more entertaining.
Wow.
What did you have? What did you have? Like
I want to hear it now.
When they score, that's what it was. When they score, they have to read his longest poem, Al Araf, 422 lines. Like, so every time they score, they have to read the longest poem by Edgar Allan Poe.
I kind of, the mascot they have is like a large, happy-looking Edgar Allan Poe, but everybody knows Edgar Allan Poe is like a very depressed human. I would have loved if they just had like he was the first emo. He's just in the end zone like every touchdown. And you got the fans and everybody has to like try and make Edgar Allan Poe smile.
They got to tell a joke and make him smile.
Yeah. Like, hey, make Poe smile. Make him friggin' smile, but he won't do it. Okay. Here, how about for the Falcons, for you, Leighton? A large mascot version of Andre 3000 and Big Boy get to dance the entire game, and when the team scores, an actual Falcon has 30 seconds to catch them as they run around the field. So like the Andre 3000 and the Big Boy are running around, there's a Falcon trying to get them.
That'd be entertaining.
All right, fine.
Okay.
Freddie, what else you got? You got anything good?
I didn't write these down, so I thought I'd remember them, but no.
It's okay.
What do you got for the Commanders, or are you waiting for their next name?
Oh no, I got this one. It's a guy. It's a mascot. His name is Phil E. Buster, and he just keeps talking, and the only way to shut him up is to score a touchdown, like a filibuster.
Oh
my God!
So the touchdown ends.
Okay.
Nate Skywalker 7 said, if Derrick Henry played in this league, he would score every time he touched the ball. Nate Skywalker, Derrick Henry pretty much scores every time he touches the ball in the NFL too. So I don't know. Okay. Yeah, what's your point? How about the Cowboys? It's just a large blonde wig that the players put over their helmet after each touchdown. Like as Texas is famous for like big blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
All right.
How about this one? The Cardinals, it's the mascot is just a person that is sweating profusely from the heat, and then each touchdown they get doused with cold water to get a little bit of relief. It's like, thank you.
All right, but that's the thing. Like, they might die.
Yeah.
They might die.
How about the Dolphins? The mascot is just really hot people dressed in white, waiting in line to get into a club, and when they score a touchdown, the player gets to pass all of them in line, and everyone gets a little upset.
What about the Saints?
The Saints.
For
Go
the
ahead,
Saints, I had every time they score a touchdown, they have to complete the rosary. That was really
Okay. That's a long celebration.
That's a super long celebration.
The mascot is named St. Peter, and he walks around shaming people for not being Catholic. And when the Saints score, he throws holy water at them.
All right.
That's actually pretty good.
A little too much
Catholicism.
Catholicism.
I wonder why Saints fans don't have little holy water throwers. Like, that would be pretty.
They really should. Should. It's just basically Buccaneers steal somebody's gold chain. I was gonna say Buccaneers. It's just Channing Tatum and Magic Mike, and he gives players lap dances. or
no, we need to score. I don't want to score.
I don't want to score. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do that again. How about this one for the Vikings? It's an actual Viking in frozen ice that starts melting through the game, and after each score, they get to take a hammer and break some ice off, and then if they win, he gets to step out of the ice block like he's an actual like Encino Man. He's a Viking that they found in the ice.
Oh,
That's a good one.
I mean, what else is Pauly Shore up to these days?
Exactly. How about for the Houston Texans? It's just a bunch of people holding guns and yelling at Democrats. Is that bad?
Okay.
It's pretty bad.
Is it bad? It's not good. Okay. How about Jacksonville? A large foam Urban Meyer just waves in the end zone and players get to hit him hard after each score. No? Freddie, what do you think? You got anything on that one? Big Urban Meyer guy?
That does he have a lady there with him?
Yes, he does.
That's a good one.
He's got a foam local with him on his lap at a club. Yeah, he's kind of dancing on him.
And the two foam people are not married.
No, that's correct. That is 100% correct. And it's just basically the liability insurance is going to be insane for most of these. Yeah, you're right. Well, that's
what do you have for the Rams?
Oh, well, as a former LA native, the Rams, it's an actual ram that they put in a car and he's stuck in traffic. And every time the team scores, the Ram is able to get into the HOV lane for a little while and drive around the stadium, and then they come back in traffic again. I've even stumped Freddie on this one.
I don't have it. Wow,
no.
All right, Nate Skywalker with a question. Here you go. If y'all could invite 3 people to dinner, dead or alive, who would it be? Celebrities, athletes, anybody? Okay. I'd invite Martin Lawrence.
Okay.
But before he got like super famous. So when he was still nice to people. Okay. Tiger Woods.
Okay.
I like Tiger. And Steve Perry, lead singer of Journey.
Oh, that's so random.
Does he have to sing all the way through dinner?
He does. He's got the voice of an angel, Freddie. Okay.
Oh, I know. Yeah. For sure.
All right, who you got? Who we got? That's a good question, Nate Skywalker, 7.
That's a really good one.
I'd like to sit down with Ray Austin at some point.
I could take you to dinner with Ray Austin.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well,
it's a lot of vodka.
Maybe then it's you two guys with Ray Austin.
Oh,
nice.
But
Newt Rockney wouldn't make your. How about Rick Meyer?
Like Brady Quinn?
Brady Quinn? Jeff Samardzija?
Brian Kelly? Like at all? Like you don't want to just like
no.
Okay, they're right.
Manti Te'o?
And his girlfriend?
You guys are assuming I haven't had dinner with most of these guys already.
Oh,
I haven't, so you're right. But
like subtle flex. Oh, okay, never mind.
I'd say Lou Holtz, but you got to wear like a face shield. If he's talking, you really got to look out for playing food.
Yeah,
ready, set, nom in the chat. Jacob Montez. Which founding father do you think had the best handles? Clearly, Teddy Roosevelt, fat but fleet of foot.
Yeah, I was like, obviously it wasn't Abe Lincoln.
Well, he wasn't a founding father.
Oh yeah, he said founding father. I thought of Mount.
Oh shit, you're right. Damn it, founding father.
Hancock has to. With that last name, you have to.
Yeah,
like you have to. Like you're getting bullied, so you have to know.
100%. Who you got? Founding father, Freddie. Who you got?
I mean, Washington was pretty tall for that day and age. So,
and he had wooden teeth, and he chopped down a cherry tree, so he's got strength.
Oh, okay.
Totally. And he led a group of soldiers across the Delaware on Christmas Eve, so he's fearless in the paint.
He sticks to it. He sticks to when you put him in a freezing river. He sticks to that.
Yeah, I think John Adams was like early adopter of like the like a decent kind of offense, like a bob and weave kind of offense. But John Quincy Adams perfected it. And I would kind of think that John Quincy Adams is probably a founding father, right? Wouldn't we consider him a founding father? John Quincy Adams? No? Fuck it. I'll give it to John Adams. Yeah, he's adjacent. It's Jay Spacey says, I'm inviting the guy who won the hot dog eating contest, Bruce Buffer for the introduction, and Leighton. I need a hype man for what comes next. Okay. Authentically you, I'm not even invited, Malcolm.
I would mine would be Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, and Gilbert Arenas.
Agent Zero makes the cut?
Wow. Oh, have you not seen his podcast? Yeah, he needs to be there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have one other thing we wanted to get to, Freddie. If you would like to stay for it, it's totally up to you. Okay.
Sure.
Now, I didn't prepare you for this. Didn't prepare you for this.
No, you did not.
But Leighton and I put together a list of the top 5 fan bases in the NFL that are the best fan bases, the worst fan bases, and the most abused fan bases. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I will start with my best fan bases. I'll go number 5, the Seahawks. Number 4, the Chiefs. Number 3, the Bills. Number 2, the Packers. And obviously, number 1, the Steelers. If you've ever gone to an away game where the Steelers are playing, more than likely the entire stadium will be Steeler fans. Okay. Seahawks are known for their 12th man. You know, Arrowhead is the loudest stadium in football. The Bills have stuck around and continuously show up, breaking tables, creating mafia, you know, jumping into snow. Nate Skywalker, I'm a huge Titan fan, and our fan base low-key trash. Good news for you, Nate. You're in here.
Yeah, you're on the list. Yeah, you are on
You're on the list.
Yeah. A-list. Not the A-list, just A-list.
No.
Yeah, that's funny. My top 5 fan bases. So I have the Eagles on there at number 5.
Wow, is best?
Yeah, top 5 best fan bases. I got them on there. I've got the Chiefs on there. The Raiders are also on this list. I'm gonna throw the Cowboys in there, and then out of respect, I'll throw the Steelers at number 1.
That is something, man. I will tell you what, you are a real mensch. You're a real mensch. Ruthless Cutie, what about I got the graphic in there. Totally forgot to download it, but I downloaded it just now. Okay. I like your list, Leighton. I wouldn't put the Eagles in best fan bases because I put them in worst fan bases. All right, Freddie, what do you got? You don't have to do a top 5, but who do you think are like the best fans in the NFL?
Oh man, Bills usually come to mind.
Okay.
You know, they show out even in the worst of weather, unless yeah. Man, I don't usually think about this a whole lot. Seahawks, I've heard are also pretty dang good. That they've got the number 12 retired in their honor for a reason. So,
but they did that. They retired. It's not like they earned it. The Seahawks were like, oh, let's retire 12 because it's just kind of gitchy. Shut up, Seattle. You still think? Here's the funny part. Okay, is that Seattle thinks that they should have beat us in the Super Bowl in 2006. Like, oh, we got robbed. The refs robbed the Super Bowl from us. Willie Parker had a 76-yard run and Hines Ward threw a touchdown. Get the hell out of here with that, Jagoffs.
God.
Nate Skywalker. That's why we're the best fan base, Leighton. What's crazy is Nashville paid billions to build us a new dome stadium, and we can't even fill all the seats we got now. Shake my head.
Packers have got to be up there.
Packers too, yeah.
Packers to be up there.
Legendary, right? A team and a fan base that can keep a NFL franchise in a small town like Green Bay deserve that.
Yeah, they got
top
to be
of the
on
list.
Yeah.
That's good. Mm-hmm. Okay, now worst fan bases. I'm gonna give you. Here you go. Here's my top 5. The Patriots. Okay, because before Tom Brady, nobody in Boston even knew they had a football team. I'm telling you right now, you would never know. And then Tom Brady comes in like, oh my God, Tom Brady, I'm the biggest Pats fan there is. You didn't even know. Shut up. You like the Red Sox and that's it. Okay. The Cardinals, because no matter the city, they stink and the fans have no idea what's going on. Okay. The Jaguars have been in Jacksonville now, have had maybe 4 winning seasons. Somewhere around there. And you can still get in Jaguars games. You could literally walk in the stadium and not that many people are going to stop you. Middle of the second quarter, you're like, hey, I'm here. And they're like, oh, come on in. There's tons of seats. No big deal. the Chargers because they left San Diego and they went to LA and nobody came with them. Not a fan. Not a fan decided to drive 2 hours up the 405 to see them play. They're like, we're good. We'll go surfing. And finally, the Eagles, because you could score 9 touchdowns the week before and then the week later have 2 drop passes and they'll threaten to kill you on Twitter.
It's solid.
There you go.
It's solid. Okay. I have some overlap.
What do you got?
So at number 5, I have the Saints.
Okay. You hate them.
At number 4, I have the Saints. At number 3, I also have the Saints.
Wow.
Number 2, not surprising, I have the Saints.
Wow.
And then here's the overlap. I have the Cowboys. I think they are a great fan base. I think they're the worst fan base at the same time. So that is my list.
All right. I like it. That's a good list. Ready, set, nom. Philly is just passionate. No, ready, set, nom. I love you, but Philly's not passionate. They're irrational. They're irrational people.
Crack.
They're irrational. Yes.
They're irrational.
Theax012 says, when's the FCF coming back? Announcements coming soon, my friend. I promise. Announcements coming soon.
Should we do a movie about Eagles fans, like how we have Cocaine Bear, then have cocaine fans?
Cocaine fans.
Like, should we? Yeah.
Cocaine birds.
Cocaine birds?
Cocaine birds.
There you go. All right, Freddie, you think worst?
It's a reimagining of the birds, but
on cocaine.
We find out why it happened, and it's cocaine.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Jay Spaces says I was fully expecting the Pats to be on that list. They were on that list.
They were on Josh's list. Yeah.
I'm a Bucks fan. Hey, good to be a Bucks fan the last couple of years. This year is going to be really interesting. But I will listen. The Bucks always just are there. They're not a bad fan base. They're not a great fan base. They're not an abused fan base. They just stick around. They've got a few Super Bowls. They've got John Gruden. They got Hooters. They got Magic Mike. They got a ship. They got pirates. I mean, it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, Freddie, worst fan bases. Who do you think?
Man, I wish I could go like a direction with this other than like most annoying fans, because that kind of seems to be driving.
No, that's really what it is. Yeah.
In terms of like fan bases that just don't really seem to exist. Jaguars, I think you mentioned. It's like I don't really know too many Jags
Name
fans.
one.
They're third fiddle in their own state.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the biggest draw in their stadium is a college football game. It's Georgia, Florida.
Yeah, Georgia, Florida.
Titans might also be up there.
I agree.
I don't know. I don't think they're really drawing what they expected when they got there. Although power move by the team to be pulling out the Houston Oilers throwbacks.
I know. What a slap in the face to the city of Houston.
Against whom they're wearing one of those for one of the games. They're wearing them against the Texans.
That is so up. That is so messed up.
But the fans have nothing to do with that. Obviously.
Yeah, no. That's just management.
Although the fans might be reaping some of the consequences. I don't know if it riles up the wrong people. Anyway,
well, if they're not in Philly, it's fine.
Pats fans have a reputation for being kind of annoying about the whole dynasty thing.
Freddie, we didn't even know we had a team until 2003 when this gorgeous man from Michigan showed up, started winning Super Bowls, okay? But now we're the greatest team to ever make it. In 20 years, we became the greatest football city in the world. Shut up, you Jags. Sorry, I yelled. Sorry, I yelled, Freddie.
No, you're good.
Okay, let's go to most abused fan bases.
Sure.
I will start with the Saints. They didn't win a playoff game until 2000. The franchise had been around for quite a while before they won a playoff game. The Browns, year in, year out, a football crazed city that just seems to give them nothing. The Jets, how they still have fans is wild. I don't understand that whole mentality. The Bengals, like besides the last couple of years, being a Bengals fan was absolutely the worst. And even now, they get the best young quarterback, and he keeps getting hurt, and they keep getting really close and just absolutely destroyed. And then, obviously, the number one most abused fan base is the Dallas Cowboys. Just What's the definition of insanity, Leighton? They keep doing the same thing.
The same thing.
It's like we've got this really old, scary man.
Abuse. That's what's crazy. Yeah, you're right. It's self-imposed abuse.
It is. We've got this crazy old man who looks like Skeletor, who's slowly melting away in the Texas heat because all he eats is Whataburger. And he's like, I'm the general manager of this team, and we're going to make the Super Bowl this year, guys. I tell you what, we're a Super Bowl team. You're not. You're not. You haven't been since Troy Aikman and you ran Jimmy Johnson out of town. You haven't been. You're done. Sorry, I yelled again. What do you got, Leighton?
The accent was the weirder thing there. Like, what was that Jerry Jones accent supposed to be?
Oh, I don't know. He's got like an old guy. Yeah, he got that. Maybe it needs to be more southern. It needs to be more Texas in nature.
A little.
I'm Terrell Jones. No, I don't know.
Just a little racist. Like you got to just sprinkle a little bit of in there.
Little racism in there.
Yeah, just all right.
Swear to God, I was at a school where they were letting blacks in. We're like, Jerry, it's 2023. Good God, man, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, burn you. All right. So most abused. I've got the Commanders. I don't have to explain. They're number 5.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna throw the Jets in there. Like you literally only have Broadway Joe, and you have to sit there. You've had to share a stadium now for at least 4 generations of your fan bases.
Yeah.
So that's a terrible abuse fan base. I also had they're my number 1. The Cardinals. I think they're abused just because they're the Cardinals. My Falcons were at number 2. We're abused. Okay, we're hurt. And the most abused fan base is the Detroit Lions. They have to.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they're up there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Lions got to be on. Yeah.
They're just such a lovable loser at this point. I don't know if they're abused, right? I think if the Lions start winning, almost everybody would root for them, right? No. It's kind of like the Bills. It's like, the kid comes back. He broke both of his legs in week 1. He comes back in week 12. Nobody liked him in school before that. Then he broke both of his legs, and it was a sad story. He gets his legs healed back, and he wins the game. You're like, oh, we like him now. But over 80 years.
Like, if the Lions had made the playoffs last year, which they almost did, if not for an early game playing tiebreaker, with the Seahawks, I think that kind of Cinderella run that they were set up for could have made them a rootable team. I think if they become, a powerhouse, which doesn't really seem conceivable, but if that happened, I don't know if they keep their rootability, but they would be in my most abused fan bases. Browns got to be up there as well. The Browns are who you think of when you think of fans wearing a paper bag on their face.
Yeah.
And the Aints.
The Aints.
Yeah.
Jets got to be up there as well. Like you said, I don't get how they've kept a fan base, much less a fan base that'll get there.
I almost put Minnesota in there too, because Minnesota abused fans.
Oh yeah.
There's a secret base video that just came out. It's like part 1 of like a full history of their history, and they are one of the winningest teams in like regular season games since I think going back to the merger. They're like 3rd overall in wins and losses, and they still have nothing. They still don't have Super Bowls or any much else to show for it. They're just
nothing.
A consistently.
Well, they've also been abused a lot by their kickers. Like a lot of those games they lost because the kicker just keeps missing field goals. So that's really who's abused them. Like the kicker is abused them.
Am I allowed to have the Bills in this as well as the best fan bases?
I think so.
Like I said before, with the 4 consecutive Super Bowl losses and a lot of other stuff, the fans have stuck through a lot for them.
They really have. Well, fandom coming up. Big. I mean, we've just been waiting for football. We thought we were going to get a Women's World Cup run. We didn't get it.
Yeah.
All we got was a fight in baseball and Jake Paul. Poor Authentically You in chat. She's really, really venting about her Falcons. Same with OVO Ghost. OVO Ghost. Jets haven't been the same since the Steelers knocked them out of the playoffs. He's not wrong. I don't think the Jets have been the same since Super Bowl III, but they also haven't been the same since the butt fumble. They haven't been the same since they decided to put all their eggs in, like Rex Ryan licking feet. I mean, it's just been a cavalcade of errors for the Jets. So
when I think of a Jets fan, I think of that old dude that sits in the corner constantly just saying random stuff like Broadway Joe. Yeah. Like, what is that over there? That's Jets fan. We let him. He eats for free.
Let me tell you something about Joe Namath.
Yeah, don't touch his trophy though. Just don't do it.
Don't touch it.
Yeah.
It's Jay Spacey. Give Kurt O-line and let him cook.
Sure.
I mean, I think Cook's okay. I think he cooks decently. Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I'm getting a text from my wife that I need to help her with something, and this has been an almost hour and a half show. So congratulations, gentlemen. We did it. I love all of you. Freddie, thanks for sticking around for so long. And,
thank you for having me.
Next week, we're going to talk a little bit about Notre Dame football.
I think we need to do that. We need to have my on-campus segment because after next week, there are going to be students on campus, and I don't want to have to deal with them for a live segment.
Okay.
So next Monday.
Yep. Next Monday, live from Notre Dame, from South Bend, Indiana. It's Friday Airmail coming in hot. Can't wait to see you then, buddy. Stay safe out there, and go Steelers.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Go.
Get back to wife.
For Leighton, Batiste, Josh Macuga for Fan Controlled Sports. Stay tuned. FCF, FCH, FCG, FCR. I don't know. There's many FC coming in very, very hot. Stay tuned to all social medias. Follow us across all the social medias at Fan Controlled Sports. Send us videos. Send them anything you want to do. Thanks to everybody in chat. OBO Ghost, Jay Spacely, Authentically You, BC Lion, Ready, Set, Nom, everybody in between. Get back to work. It's Monday. We're here every single Monday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Congratulations to Leighton. He's very close to getting his MBA. He's a really smart. My boy's wicked smart.
Yeah.
Okay? My boy's wicked smart. And here comes the end card. Bye.
Thank you, fans, for watching Back to Work with Leighton Batiste and Josh Macuga on the Fan Controlled Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel. If you liked this video, you can check out other videos right here. You can subscribe to the channel, tell all your friends, hit like buttons across all the videos, check out all of our shorts and live shows, and as always, power to the fans.